Hey everybody, Alex Kozora, SteelersDepot.com back for another video. Asked you guys on the channel the other day what content you'd like to see as we get closer to the start of training camp in the 2020 preseason. A lot of comments back about position battles and things to look for this summer. Obviously, we'll have lack of access without training camp being readily available in preseason. Who knows what's going to happen there, but we can still project and talk about some of the battles we know that will be ongoing for the Pittsburgh Steelers today. To start, we'll talk about the right tackle situation and battle right now. Matt Feiler is going to kick inside the left guard. Mike Tomlin confirmed. Already kind of figured that and guessed that a couple months ago during the offseason. To start camps are Fowler at left guard, and that'll have Zach Banner and Chukwuma Okorafor working at right tackle and battling out. So hopefully one of those guys can really stake their claim into that right tackle spot to keep Fowler at left guard. If they can't, then Fowler probably kicks back out to right tackle, and Steve Wisniewski probably becomes your week one left guard. Just talk about Filer briefly before we talk about Banner and Okorafor. I just want to recognize the value of Matt Feiler and that he's not one of a kind. Not even in Pittsburgh, we've seen guys like Chris Hubbard be super versatile before. Even Ramon Foster, early in his Steelers career, was versatile, played tackle, played guard. But having a guy like Feiler that can just move around. I mean, he didn't even play a lot of right tackle in the preseason last year because they wanted to look at a core for. They wanted to look at Banner a little bit. He played a lot of left guard in camp, even in the preseason as well, and then ends up starting 15 of the 16 games at right tackle and then the one at left guard against the Rams. So have a guy that you can move around. He's played every single spot. Basically was a left tackle in college at Bloomsburg. He's even played some emergency center in training camp before. Not that you would ever want him to do that, but if you had to, then he could do that. And just moving that guy around, people think you just shift a lineman from one spot to the other. It's all the same. You're an offensive lineman. It's totally different. Your footwork, your placement, your punch, what you're looking for, what your eyes are, the scheme, how you're defending different rushers, how you prepare for different rushers. That's all very difficult and complicated, and Fowler makes it look easy, and that's probably the biggest compliment I can give to someone like that is that he can go from playing right tackle for halfway through the 2019 season, then kick to left guard against Aaron Donald and the Rams in the great pass rush they have, and really hold his own and play well. So hopefully Fowler can stay at left guard. I think it's probably the best thing because I'd rather have Wisniewski be the backup to, if there's an injury mid game, then Wisniewski does have to shift to center. Let's say if Pouncey goes down, then you got to move everybody around, and it's just kind of a mess in game. But just want to recognize that having a guy like Fowler that is just steady, consistent, versatile, and just makes it look easy is really important and really valuable for the Steelers team. To the right tackle spot, again, the two guys competing, Banner and a core four. And honestly, I think this is the closest battle where I just don't know what direction it's going to go. I don't know who's going to win this battle. And I truly think that this comes down to just who plays the best in August in the preseason. And again, how much work will they get? They'll have training camp. Will they have four preseason games? We know the Hall of Fame game's already been canceled. Will they only have two preseason games? Will there be no preseason games? We don't know. But the body of work in the summer will determine the right tackle job, I think. And starting with Zach Banner, we know his story. We know that, he's a fan favorite, kind of a cult hero of sorts, a funny dude. Fans love him. Number 72 reporting eligible, kneel down blocks, catching passes, hopefully all of that stuff. But in the context of what's really important and relevant in this conversation, just, again, recognizing how far he's come. This was a guy that was a top talent coming out of high school, goes to USC, becomes a fourth round pick at the Colts, and then nearly falls out of the league. Definitely had some weight concerns, and he's admitted he's gotten his weight up to over 400 pounds before, I think, with Cleveland in 2017, and basically fell out the league. And Pittsburgh asked him to get his weight down when they brought him in mid camp. It was just like early August in 2018, and he was able to get his weight down. I forget, he got it down like, I don't know, 30, 40 pounds. And Pittsburgh signs him, still wanting to work on his weight and getting it down. And he's kind of worked his way up the ladder while dropping weight. He's somewhere in the 300 range right now. His body looks great. It's a big transformation from where he was just a few years ago. I'll try to put the screen cap of it when I'm going through and editing this video. But I mean, he's come a long way because this guy became very dangerously close to falling out of football permanently. And now the fact that he's even in this position to battle for the right tackle spot is incredibly impressive and a testament to the work ethic that he's put in and the dedication because that was not an easy journey at all. The question is, though, can he take that final step and become that right tackle? Or is he just kind of more of a swing tackle, six offensive lineman type? He's got the size, he's got the power, obviously. And the question will be just dealing with speed rushers. He has the advantage of being so big and long and hard to get around that'll help. But how does he defend the edge? That's going to be the big thing for Banner. And he just hasn't played right tackle in a regular season game in, I don't know. It's been a while. Hasn't happened in Pittsburgh, I don't think. I think all his work has come as a sixth offensive lineman. And he's done well in that role, as you would expect. But certainly wants to become more than that, has to probably do more in pass protection as a six offensive lineman. He's obviously doing some pass protecting, but it's coming in more run oriented packages and situations. So he hasn't had to really kick set as much and defend a speed rusher as often. Usually in those situations, he's coming against 4-3 defenses to take on a defensive end in the run game. So a tight end doesn't have to do it because it's a better matchup if your tackle's doing it than a smaller, less competent blocker like a tight end. So that's the mission for Zach Banner, just showing he can be more consistent, defending the speed rush, and just showing he can take that next step and truly be a great right tackle and not just a great story for the team and for fans. Then there's Chukwuma Okorafor, third round pick in 2018, the last of the Mike Munchak era. And when they drafted him, they knew he was raw. He was 22 years old. He got to football late. I think he was playing soccer growing up. And so he was pretty still raw, relatively speaking, to the game of football. And, his rookie year didn't do a whole lot. Had that one start against Denver. They gave him all the hope in the world against Von Miller. He's had a rough go over. The two starts he's had in his career have been against Von Miller and the Broncos in 2018 and the Rams last year, where they had Clay Matthews and Fowler and Donald will move around and all that stuff. So they have not been easy situations for him to be in, and Steelers have given him a lot of help because of it. But I will say a core four was, I think, arguably not that it cost the team a whole lot, especially with Banner stepping up, but I would say Okorafor was one of the most disappointing players in camp last year. I thought he could even potentially push Matt Feiler for the right tackle job. Wasn't even close. Fowler had that battle and that job won basically from the beginning, and Okorafor just did not look that good, and he was underpowered and underdeveloped, and maybe that was to blame on a shoulder injury. He says in a tweet, I'll try to put up again the screen cap here, that he is pain free for the first time with that shoulder, and he had shoulder surgery in the offseason. We already knew that. So hopefully that was the reason why you saw a lack of power with him. He's a good athlete. There was certainly upside, as vague as that may sound, with him coming out of college, and we just haven't seen it so far. And it's been, he's just trying to get a hat on game day. And Banner took over as a six offensive lineman last year, and so you want to see a core, I think, be more powerful with his punch, be a better run blocker, and just, I guess, look healthier because, according to him at least, he wasn't super healthy last season, and that cost him. So it's a big year for him because it's year three. He's not a young guy anymore. He's not inexperienced anymore, and so he's got to step up and hopefully be able to show he can own that job. And not only for right tackle, but you think about next year at left tackle. Alejandro Villanueva is entering the last year of his contract. He's, I think, 32, 33 years old. Will the Steelers retain him? They may try, but it's not going to be cheap. I mean, he took a very team-friendly deal on his past contract, 4 years, 24 million. That is one of the most team-friendly deals for any left tackle in football, and he's not going to take $6 million per year this time around. I can guarantee you that. So, will they be able to retain him? We're not sure. And if not, then they're going to have to go find left tackle, or core four is going to have to shift over to left tackle. But that starts with owning the right tackle job this year. If he can't win the right tackle job in 2020, odds are he's probably not going to be a strong contender to be your starting left tackle in 2021. So big year for core four as well. Excited to see him. Excited to see Zach Banner. And I truly think, again, this battle is 50-50. I don't mean to hedge my bets here. I just don't know which way it's going to go. I mean, you could say that I think Banner's played better and has been more proven on an NFL field with his time in Pittsburgh, but you could also say Corfer has the slight edge of being the draft pick, being the investment, and when his teams needed an actual right tackle, each of the past 2 years, it's been a Corfer getting the nod over Zach Banner. But I don't think all that stuff really matters a whole lot right now. I think it truly just comes down to who's going to do the best job this preseason. And again, if neither can really show that they can be the right tackle, which would be obviously deeply disappointing. But if neither can show that, then Fowler is always as kind of the emergency hatch, kick him back out to right tackle with Snooski or Kevin Dotson. If he really steps up in camp, I find that unlikely because he's learning how to play the left guard. Never played left guard at Louisiana Lafayette. He was a right guard there. So probably Wisniewski shifts over to becomes your left guard, I should say, with Fowler shifting over to right tackle. And again, the concern there is that Wisniewski, is not really ideally a 16-game starter. He's like BJ Finney. I would say he's probably even a little worse than BJ Finney. And if there was an in-game injury to Pouncey, as I mentioned earlier, then Wisniewski has to shift from left guard to center. Fowler has to go from right tackle to left guard. Then either a core or Banner step up to become your right tackle. That's a lot of in-game movement you'd rather avoid because guys haven't had reps in that spot. They might not have a game plan for a certain pass rusher or a defensive tackle. For in Fowler's case, for example, when they were planning for the left defensive end, and now they're planning for a defensive tackle on the right side. So those are things you want to avoid. And so ideally, And football is not an ideal world, and obviously coronavirus can impact this as well. But ideally, you want Fowler at left guard and Banner and Core for battling it out at right tackle. And one of those guys, as long as one of those guys, I don't care who it is, just shows they are capable of handling that job, then I'll be happy. And I think the Steelers will be as well. But I think that's, to me, the top battle going into camp. There aren't a whole lot of starting battles up for grabs. It's really just like right tackle and nose tackle. And I think obviously right tackle is a lot more impactful battle right now. And so I think those are the two that are up in the air in terms of starters. Or some backup ones we'll talk about in future videos. So that's my thoughts on the right tackle battle for the Pittsburgh Steelers between Zach Banner, Chukwuma Okorafor, and even Matt Feiler as the default fallback option. So let me know your thoughts. Who you think is going to be the Steelers right tackle week 1 against the New York Giants? Again, Banner, Okorafor, or Feiler. Would love to know your thoughts. Leave a comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.